You found your way to Whispers of Crimes, a quiet corner where the shadows of the past are gently told. Here, we speak of real crimes and mysteries, not to shock or scare, but to wonder, to reflect, and maybe to help you fall asleep. So close your eyes, let your thoughts slow down, and come with me into tonight's case. He left home on a quiet Saturday morning in Cyprus. No suitcase, no warning, just a short drive and then nothing. Panayotis Panos Pavlou was 70 years old, a retired engineer, a man of routine. He was supposed to be back within the hour, but he never came home. His phone went dead. His car was found parked and locked on a random street. No signs of a struggle, no witnesses. No answers. To this day, no one knows what happened. Was it foul play, a planned disappearance, or something far more chilling? One man vanished, a family shattered, and an entire country still asking, where is Panos Pavlou? Find out what we know and what still haunts Cyprus. Chapter 1. The day he didn't come home, March 24th, 2018, began like any other day in Nicosia. The morning air was cool, and the city slowly stirred to life. In a modest neighborhood in the capital of Cyprus, 70-year-old Panayotis Pavlou, better known as Panos, got ready to leave his home. He was retired, a former mechanical engineer, known by neighbors for his punctual routines and gentle demeanor. He told his wife he'd be stepping out for a short while. Nothing unusual, no bags packed, no sign of distress. Just another simple errand, or so it seemed. She expected him back within an hour or two, but as the sun began to set and no word came from Panos, concern began to creep in. She tried his mobile phone. It went straight to voicemail. Perhaps his battery had died. Perhaps he got caught up with a friend. But by nightfall, her unease grew into alarm. She called hospitals. She called friends. No one had seen or heard from him. The next morning, after a sleepless night, the family contacted the police. Panos Pavlou was officially reported missing, and so began a mystery that continues to haunt Cyprus to this day. Chapter 2. A man who didn't just disappear. To understand why this disappearance sent shockwaves through Panos's community, you have to understand the man himself. Panos wasn't some restless soul or reclusive figure. He had lived a steady, admirable life. For decades, he had worked as a mechanical engineer, methodical, reliable, and thoughtful. He loved books, tinkering with old radios, and spending time with his grandchildren. His neighbors described him as warm but quiet, a man who stuck to his routines. Every morning, he would walk around the block, greet familiar faces, and maybe stop at the bakery. He had no history of mental illness. He wasn't on any medication that might cause confusion or disorientation. His family said he had no enemies, no known debts, and no reason to flee or vanish voluntarily. This wasn't a man with a secret life. He was the kind of person people trusted with their house keys and garden tools. So when he disappeared without a trace, it wasn't just puzzling, it was almost unthinkable. People don't just vanish. Not like this. Not in Cyprus. Not someone like Panos. Chapter 3. The investigation begins. The Cyprus police responded quickly. The first 48 hours in a missing persons case are critical, and this was no different. Officers checked his house for any clues, nothing out of place. His wallet was gone, as was his mobile phone, which aligned with the theory that he'd only planned to be gone for a short time. Search teams were deployed in nearby neighborhoods. Friends and family joined in. Flyers were distributed. Local television and newspapers covered the story. Residents were urged to report anything they might have seen, a man fitting his description, walking, driving, or perhaps distressed. Surveillance footage became a key focus. Investigators reviewed hours of video from nearby intersections, ATMs, and convenience stores. At one point, they found a blurry image that could have been Panos, taken near a bakery. But the image was low resolution. The timestamp was unclear. They couldn't confirm if it was him or if it was even from the right day. And then came the strangest silence of all. His mobile phone, which had been on when he left the house, was switched off shortly after. The signal was lost. There were no pings, no attempted calls, no GPS tracking. It was as if Panos had stepped into a void. And the longer the silence stretched, the colder the trail became. Chapter 4. The car that raised more questions. Several days into the investigation, police made a discovery. Panos' car, a white hatchback, was found. It was parked neatly along a quiet residential street in Nicosia, just a short drive from his home. There were no signs of forced entry. No broken windows. No blood. No scattered belongings. Nothing to suggest a crime had taken place inside. The doors were locked. The keys were missing, and there was no clear reason for the car to be there. Locals in the area told police they hadn't noticed it before. Some said it could have been parked there for a day or two, but no one remembered seeing anyone get in or out of it. Investigators dusted for fingerprints, but there were no strange prints inside. They checked security cameras in the area, but most homes didn't have any. Finding the car should have been a breakthrough, but instead, it was a dead end wrapped in another layer of confusion. Why would Panos park his car in a part of town where he had no known connections? Did he meet someone there? Was he lured there? Or did he leave the vehicle willingly, only for something to happen afterward? Chapter 5. Theories, suspicions, and silence. With no solid leads, people began to speculate. The media reported on theories ranging from plausible to downright sinister. Some whispered about the possibility of a voluntary disappearance. Could Panos have been overwhelmed, hiding something, or living a double life? But his family strongly rejected this. His life was open and predictable. He had no passport on him, no signs of planning, and he left behind everything he loved. Others believed he might have been the victim of a robbery gone wrong or a random act of violence. But again, there was no body, no evidence of a crime, and no reports of suspicious activity in the area. One particularly persistent theory involved organized crime. Cyprus, while generally peaceful, has an underworld that deals in trafficking, smuggling, and debt collection. Was Panos a target, or mistaken for someone else? Still, no threats had been made, no messages received. No one came forward with any such connection. And that was the chilling part. Not just the lack of answers, but the overwhelming, suffocating silence that followed. It was as if the world had swallowed him up and left not even a whisper behind. Chapter 6. A family in the shadows for the Pavlou family. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. The initial surge of media interest faded. The flyers grew tattered. Calls stopped coming, but their search never ended. They hired private investigators. They posted in forums. They consulted psychics, as desperate families sometimes do when reason fails. Every possible lead was followed, often at great emotional and financial cost. Someone claimed to have seen him near a bus station. Another said they spoke to a man who matched his description in Limassol. None of these leads went anywhere. The uncertainty became its own form of torture. Without a body, there was no closure. Without witnesses, there was no narrative to hold on to. Just questions looping endlessly through their minds. What if he had fallen and was lying somewhere waiting? What if he had trusted someone he shouldn't have? What if he was still alive somewhere wanting to come home? Even hope became heavy to carry. Chapter 7. A name that still echoes today. Panayotis Pavlou's name still lingers in conversations across Cyprus, quietly, solemnly, like a ghost that refuses to fade. His case remains open, unsolved, and unsettling. The authorities maintain that they are willing to investigate any new leads, but years later, none have emerged. It's one of those cases that leaves investigators frustrated and families broken. He was 70, healthy, sharp, surrounded by loved ones. One moment, he was part of the world. The next, he was gone. Cyprus has known tragedies. It has known crimes. But there is something particularly haunting about a man like Panos vanishing in the middle of an ordinary day. No fight, no sound, no goodbye. Maybe one day the truth will come out. A forgotten witness might speak. A new piece of evidence might surface. Until then, all anyone can do is remember Panos Pavlou and hope that, somehow, the silence will finally break. That's all for tonight's story. Another thread in the web of true crime, quietly unraveling as the night goes on. If you're still with me, thanks for listening. And if sleep has already taken you, may your dreams be peaceful and your mind at ease. I'll be here next time by the fire with another story waiting to be told. Good night, and don't forget to lock your doors.